In 1887, a peasant woman was digging near the Egyptian town of Amarna. She was looking for old mud bricks to use as fertilizer. What she found were not the usual rough blocks, but rows of well-preserved clay tablets.
The little bits of mud were covered with writing that looked rather like birds' feet had wandered over mud, and the things had been set in the mud after the birds had gone. The lady didn't know what they were, but picked some of them up.
These humble clay tablets were not bricks, but letters, and they were the key to Amenhotep's success.
The peasant lady had stumbled across the diplomatic record office of the capital of the ancient world. The Amarna letters throw a flood of light onto the politics of the Near East.
These small tablets were the correspondence between Pharaoh Amenhotep and the other rulers of the Near East. The strange marks covering them are minuscule writing. They contain as much information as the inscriptions on all of Egypt's greatest monuments. They reveal Amenhotep was controlling his world not with weapons, but with words. The pharaoh had become a diplomat.
I would describe it as the most important discovery of the ancient world, probably, in terms of understanding of political life. Not the most visible, not the most artistically appealing, but the politically most significant discovery of the ancient world.
At a time when most people on earth could not read or write, Egypt was conducting a lively dialogue with her rivals. The king's messengers ran back and forth across the deserts of the Near East, carrying letters that revealed Egypt's status as a superpower.
International diplomacy in the days of the Amarna letters would be very familiar to diplomats today. It was really very much like diplomatic interaction between countries even in our own time.
The letters show Amenhotep was as good at diplomacy as his ancestors had been at fighting. Ambassadors flocked to Pharaoh's court, bringing gifts of friendship. Less powerful countries sent endless streams of tribute to show their loyalty.
The principle in the ancient world was quite clear. If somebody was rich, you made them feel even richer. So when you visited them, you would turn up with the produce of your own country. It's partly to acknowledge that the power of the pharaoh extends even to countries where he has not set foot.
Scenes painted in Egyptian tombs show how these dazzling displays of tribute must have looked. Priceless objects flooded in from all over the known world, from Minoan Crete to biblical Babylon.
The Nubians will bring giraffes and lions. The Syrians may bring bears, which are found in the mountains of Syria. Other places will bring characteristic animals and birds of their countries. It was a very dramatic, physical, dynamic expression of what the empire meant for the Egyptians, what it was composed of, and above all, how central the Egyptian king was to this whole system.
Amenhotep calls himself the King of Kings, and the King of Kings is what he must have seemed to the rulers who shared his world.
Amenhotep knew he was the most powerful man in the world, and he knew he had one great advantage. Not military might, but gold. The letters that went back and forth from Pharaoh's court show that even the greatest kings of the Near East were desperate for Egypt's gold, and they were prepared to beg for it.
If you send me the gold I wrote to you about, I will give you my daughter. Send me as much as your father did.
In your country, gold is like dust, and you can just gather it up. If it is your intention that a sincere friendship exists, send much gold.
I have begun a new palace. Send me as much gold as is required for its decoration.
Amenhotep responded shrewdly to their requests. He gave them gold, but always left them wanting more. The strategy was a triumph. The kings of the Near East were exchanging gifts, not blows. The most precious gift of all was a foreign princess as a wife, plus her dowry and retinue.